Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Olympic ice hockey competition from Norway. Paul Ferguson here with Richard Beaupre. In a moment we will be live with Sweden and Slovakia. Sweden still looking for their first gold medal in Olympic competition. They have 2 silver and 4 bronze. And the Slovaks are here for the first time after qualifying in Great Britain at the end of the summer. So the Slovaks, with a lot of Czechs on their team, are looking for history in the making here. We take a look at the Group A standings. Russia, Finland, and Germany came up with victories. The Finns were very, very impressive yesterday in day 1 of this competition. The Russians finally put it together, and the Germans struggled against the Austrians. Let's take a look at the Slovaks right now. Goaltender Hartman, this guy has been around for a while, wearing a different jersey. And we see as we look down the list, Jurgis Bakcha, Smerchiak, Sakarash, Svela, Robert Svela, he's been around playing with the Czech team, but now the Czechs and the Slovaks have separated. Zygmunt Palffy is around, Petrovicki, a lot of NHL players, and of course, Peter Stastny. He's the one everyone is going to watch for. This guy is a legend.
He certainly had his say in international ice hockey between him and his brothers. They've been around for years. Young Petrovicki is a guy to watch out for. He's 20 years old. The NHL people that are in Norway are watching this guy very closely.
A couple of disappointments for the Slovaks. Anton Stastny won't be here. He's been suspended. Seeger is in the NHL, and Bondra is also in the NHL, so they're going to be missing 3 key players. The Swedes are the favorites, despite not having won a gold medal. Janssen, Duboya, Yulin on defense, Svensson, Roger Hansen, number 11, one of my favorite players. Fredrik Stillman, as we go down the list. Peter Forsberg, this guy has a great future in front of him. Mats Naslund, what can you say about him? He's done it in the NHL. Hackenlube is here looking for the hat trick. Patrick Kjellberg, a disappointment. He spent last year in the Montreal Canadiens setup. I saw him play at Wembley along with Kornbach. The 2 of them played really well, and then they were farmed out to the East Coast. Kjellberg didn't like it. Kornbach stayed in the NHL, and Kjellberg now is playing for Sweden, and I'm sure he's enjoying himself. But Kornbach has since been traded, and he's out of the Montreal organization, which is a difficult organization to break into, but Kjellberg just didn't want to waste his time there. Who knows, he may go back.
Offensively, the Swedes could have just the right mix that they've been looking for. Hackenlube, the veteran who's got Stanley Cup rings, he's been a part of World Championship teams, says that he wants the hat trick. He'd like to be a part of a Swedish team that can win a gold medal in the Olympic Games, and his kids have been putting pressure on him to come out and do it. Well, if you can't do it for your kids, who can you do it for? Coupling that with Mats Naslund, a guy who people in Montreal still talk about. He was loved while he was a hockey player there, has gone back to Sweden to finish his career. He's 34 years old. Put him out on the ice with a guy like Peter Forsberg, where there isn't anybody in North America who haven't heard of this guy before. He was a part of the Eric Lindros deal, the Philadelphia, Quebec problems and all that. Well, his start with Modo in the Swedish league was a bit iffy in the beginning of the season, but by all accounts, he's putting things together nicely now, and Quebec are looking forward to having this 20-year-old kid in their lineup next season.
I can remember talking to this man here, Suppler, in Sheffield in August, and he said that if they qualified, which they did, of course, he would hope to have Bondra and Seeger with him, but I think he was a bit optimistic at the time. No way the NHL are going to release players like Bondra and Seeger, but he still has a very, very talented team. On the international scene, they're a bit unknown, but when you look down the list, we began talking about Stastny. Over 1,000 NHL games. He's played for the Czech team in the Olympics. He's played for World Championship teams and Canada Cup teams. Boy, you can't do anything else in hockey. I guess you could win an Olympic gold medal.
That's certainly right, Paul. I mentioned Petrovicki earlier. A lot of people watching him. It's teams talking trades, transfers, call it what you like. Petrovicki, the 20-year-old kid, Hartford draft choice in '92, played 42 games with Hartford. But he's one of these guys that they're talking about. The Olympic Games could make or break him with future dollars, we'll call it. It's yet to be seen. He's got a lot to prove, and he's certainly on a club that are looking to establish themselves in international play. The Slovakians have been Czechoslovakia in the past. Now it's Czech Republic and the Slovaks. They've got an identity of their own.
Sweden playing from right to left. And we said at the top of this program that the Finns, Russians, and Germans drew first blood yesterday. And it'll be interesting to see what happens today as we get into Pool B action. Later on, the Canadians, the Italians, and the USA and France go at it. Thrown into the corner, and Petrovicki dumps it in behind the net. Janssen tries to move it along the far boards. And it's still the Slovaks with Stasny out there. Stasny working his way into the corner. Janssen comes behind his own goal. Algotsson is the goaltender. That moves up onto Janssen's stick. There are a couple of Janssens out there. Number 2, the big defenseman, backhands it into the corner. And Marchenko picks it up. Marchenko throws it up on the wing, and the Slovaks now bring it up quickly. The red line all the way through. A quick change for both teams as this one settles down, and I got a feeling it's going to be good. Berglund head manning the puck, got it through as far as number 22, Konsek. Pass on the open wing as Kolnick brought it in quickly. And both teams will go through a change of personnel out there here in the first period. This is live on Eurosport.
Both teams have 4 lines of hockey players. It'll be interesting to see if they do try to match lines at all. Interesting combination right from the start. 37-year-old Peter Stasny going on the face-off against 20-year-old Peter Forsberg. We'll have to watch for combinations like that.
Hashak feeding that through to Kolnick. The shot coming through is deflected away by Duboyet. Picked up at the hash mark. So one-timer comes in, and Algotsson went down, but the shot didn't reach him. And that's pushed out of the zone. And right now, the Slovaks are putting the pressure on the Swedes, who are taking some time to settle. Berglund starts it up on the left side, throws it back in behind the net. Naslund, with that familiar style, is taken out of the play, but that went up to Berglund. It's pushed away. Zakaric throws it deep into his own zone, and the Slovaks now start out. Coming back on the right side, thrown in by Petrovicki, and Algotsson couldn't get a handle on that. Hakenlube tried to scoop that in, pushed away now by 27, Kjellberg. A long shot in on the goal, and that's cleared away by the Swedish goalie. Return clearance comes in deep, and the Slovaks buzzing around that goal with Petrovicki on the far side. Picked up now by Ornskog. 1 or 2 new names on the Swedish side as they bring in the youngsters. Pass intercepted in neutral ice territory. And Ornskog goes deep and then elects to leave that on the D.
Ornskog being put into a big spot, filling big shoes. The likes of Rundqvist not in the lineup. Guys like that, he's playing on a line with Kjellberg and Lube. He's certainly going to have to carry his weight.
Smerchiak shoots it in quickly, going after it is Kolnick. He's taken out of the play. Ornskog feeds it over. Stillman right at the blue line. Stillman looking to get over to Kjellberg. That almost worked. It hit a skate, and the Swedes get back in a hurry with Ornskog dropping it back. Stillman right on the blue. A long clearance over by Janssen, and the Swedes go for a change. Coming up to the 3-minute mark, and no real serious threat to either goal as Ridmark drops it back. That's the style that the Swedes prefer to entertain. Dackel couldn't get the handle on that one. A chance now for Ridmark, and one too many moves perhaps as that slid off his stick. Ridmark moving right in front. A wealth of international talent for number 17. Plavuka getting it over. Varholik drops it back, and Sutton just fed it through as again both teams go through the change. Hansen, Roger Hansen. Let's go the wrist shot. That bobbles to the edge of the circle, batted down only as far as number 19, Janssen. A chance for Ridmark, and he fanned on the shot coming in heavily on Puker. And Puker took him out of the play nicely. Ridmark buzzing around that goal along with Drakel. And that goes deep, and Janssen picks it up for Sweden.
Both teams changing on the fly. We haven't had many whistles in this game.
Kenny Janssen brings it in over the blue. And we have a whistle now on the offside call. Face-off just outside the Slovak zone. Thrown over the far side, and the Swedes now are beginning to put their game together. Batcha on the backhand side. It can only get it as far as the blue. The shot right on the target. And it's cleared away by Marchenko. Marchenko gets it out to the blue. That took a deflection. Marchenko again comes back for it. And slows it down with Batcha and Marchenko playing well on the D for the Slovaks.
Two big guys that are very mobile. You'll see Marchenko going forward quite a lot. He likes to play on the offensive style of hockey. It suits the Slovaks just fine.
Stasny was cruising in front of the net. Batcha got the clearance in. Eriksson taken out of the play. Thrown over to Dackel. Dackel can't get a handle on it, but that comes in front, and the Swedes now break quickly. Took a deflection off of Bergqvist's skate as he worked towards the bench. Decides to pick it up and continue on with the play. Good little clearance from Bergqvist. That goes right in front of the net. A chance to save is there. Hansen got a piece of it. The return clearance comes in. Bergqvist is there. Big shot by Roland. And Roland is taken out of the play. And the Swedes now getting their game together and applying a little pressure on the Slovak goal.
Good shot earlier from Roland going off the side of the net. He stepped in from the blue line, let it go. It went through a crowd. A slight screen in front of the goal provided by Nicholas Eriksson. Shot from Roland. Eriksson jumps out of the way. It hits the side of the net. It does appear that the pad was down. The save would have been made. The action continued on into the corner. The Slovaks guilty of being a little bit too aggressive. Jurgis Batcha taking the cross-checking penalty at 5:12 of this first period. The Swedes with the first power play opportunity.
Berglund gets set for the face-off, tries to kick it through, eventually drops it back to the hash marks. That comes back onto the blue, and Johansson pumped it in. Johansson back on the blue line for Sweden. Lets the shot go. That took a deflection and bounces kindly for the Slovaks. The long shot. And Janos got a piece of that and cleared it down the ice. Naslund starts up on the right side. Naslund hits the red and fires that in. And the Swedes now try to set it up. Ulen couldn't control that bobbling puck along the boards, but the Swedes keep it in. With Duboya pumping it behind the net. Duboya moving in quickly from the blue line. Naslund sets himself up in there. Duboya with Jonsson. Duboya, shot comes in. Again, that's deflected before it gets to the goaltender. And it's cleared down the ice. Both teams go for a change again.
Quite possibly the Slovaks have watched a few videos on the Swedish power play. Down low, they're forcing them. They're not allowing them to set it up down low.
Stillman with Lube. Roland taken out of the play. Lube trying to one-hand it through the circle. That didn't work, and the Slovaks get it all the way down, and Stillman will have to chase. Stillman being shadowed nicely by Janos, taken out of the play, and that nicely is going to cost him. Hooking is the call. Why is it every time I say there's a good play, it turns into a penalty? Maybe I'm thinking differently than a referee. I could never be a referee, that's for sure.
That's the second time in the last 30 seconds the crowd have been screaming for a hooking call right at the Slovak blue line. Seconds ago, the same thing happened. This time, Janos pulls Stillman down as he comes around the net. Janos going for hooking. The Slovaks are now going to be shorthanded, 2 men.
6:30 the time of the penalty.
The Swedes will have a 2-man advantage for 42 seconds. At that point, Batcha will return to the ice.
Take a look at the, well, we took a look there at the rough time Ulen was getting in front of the nets. And that's the kind of thing you expect to happen at this level. 28 seconds on the first penalty. That's shot in by Jonsson. Jonsson to the far side. The Swedes now with an opportunity. All the way back to Jonsson again. Jonsson taking a lot of time at the high slot. Still Jonsson setting it up, fakes the shot. A chance now for Lube as he tries to pepper it to the far side. Jonsson stops it before it goes out over the blue line. And Lube calls for it, gets it all the way back to Jonsson again. The one-timer! That went off the side of the post. 1 second on the first penalty. They're back to 4 men now. Batcha steps on the ice. He's out there. Lube fires a shot and eventually pumped away by Smerchak. Lube again picks it up, gets it over to the far side, all the way back onto the D, and the Swedes are throwing it around nicely. All the way back into the circle with Lube circling and double back, getting back quickly. Jonsson and Stillman. Jonsson throws it up onto this side with Lube. He scores! Hartman is beaten.
The Swedes are so good at controlling the puck. They've got all kinds of stick handling ability on the ice with Hacken, Lube, Naslund, those kind of guys out there. Jonsson and Stillman on the defense, who both have big shots. It's a constant threat to any team. Are they going to shoot or are they going to work it down low? Hacken Lube takes the puck at the circle, picks his spot, goes right between the legs of the goaltender, and the Swedes have the first goal of this game. Hacken Lube had been on the ice for quite a while. The puck worked down to him by Jonsson. He decided to step in as that side of the box had overcommitted itself to the other side of the ice. Finally, the Slovaks break down. Peter Snazny had done an excellent job during the 5-on-3 to help kill, but the Slovaks come up short. A power play effort for the Swedes puts them on top.
Nedvik shot that in, and the Swedes get it out quickly. And the Swedes with a lethal combination out there on the power play. The drop pass and getting back quickly is 24 Dackel to break things up, and that deflects away. Ridmark tried to get a handle on it, but Algotsson moves in quickly. Duboya pushes and shoves just a little, but nothing too serious out there.
A couple of players getting involved, that's all respect. You just don't go near the opposing goaltender. If you do, you better be willing to pay the price. Duboya muscling his man off the puck and away from his goaltender. Algotsson not in any real danger, but those defensemen are never going to let anybody get near the goalie.
I'm not going to touch that. 8:08 gone in the first period. The Swedes leading this one 1-0. It's live on Eurosport. Eriksson drops it back. Stillman brings it up on the left side, throws it to the far side, and the Swedes now coming out of their zone. Big pass right up on the middle, one or two chops out there. Bergqvist pokes it through. Stillman goes after it, but the Swedes unable to beat number 14, Pohoric, to the puck. A little tip through, and the Swedes seem to be a stride faster than the Slovaks right now. Perhaps it's early days as Svella pumps it to the wrong side. Stillman being shadowed by Petrovicki. A lazy pass onto the near side of the boards. Brought in quickly, Petrovicki, and Ulan goes in to help out along with Roland, and Algotsson pounces on it for the face-off.
Very alertly, Algotsson jumped on the puck to hold on. That hit a leg right in front of him. Rather than take the chance of leaving the puck laying around or keeping it in play, he took the face-off and did the sensible thing, allowing Peter Forsberg to get his line off the ice and bring on a fresh unit. The Slovaks are one of those teams, well, you can talk to Czechoslovakians in general. They hook, they grab, they're very good with their sticks, they're excellent poke checkers. They cause a lot of problems for teams around the front of their own net.
Shot from way back of the boob. Bureau was calling for it on this side. It didn't come his way. Naslund taps it to the far side. Sutton putting the chase on earlier, and that's bounced off the boards, and the Slovaks not throwing the passes together. Hartman decides to hang on to that after a difficult rebound. The clever thing to do for the Slovak goalie.
The reaction from the crowd, that shot coming from a long way out, but Hartman having to be quick. Got the pad on the puck and was forced to hold on to it.
Peter Stastny playing without his brother Anton, who was suspended for a considerable length of time. A shot right on the target for abusing an official. 8 months, I understand, was the length of the suspension. And quite an experienced player. And you really don't like to leave someone like that out of your lineup. Naslund reached back for the puck, but that was fired in from the blue, pushed away from Marchenko. A little tap along the red line, and Berglund goes deep. Berglund for Sweden. Naslund breaks on the right side. Berglund now brings it right up the middle, hits the blue, comes up to the red, throws it up on the right wing to Johansson. Johansson just tips it in. Naslund is there. Naslund taken out by Marchenko, but the Swedes pick it up with Julin doing some good work on the wrong wing. Naslund and Berglund pumping in there. Naslund goes in now, but Batya is all over him. Julin tries to take him out. Naslund looking for Julin. And Dano goes down heavily.
First, the crowd reacted to Dano's pass going off Peter Stasny's back, and then Dano was just drilled into the boards. The Slovakian bench reacting, wanting a penalty call. The referee blowing the whistle just because the player hadn't gotten up. Mats Naslund chasing along the boards. Big shoulder thrown in. Nothing wrong with that hit. Julin sticking the shoulder into Dano. He's trying to figure out what country he's playing hockey in right now, but it was a good, clean hit.
Well, they're growing big in Sweden. They're very mobile. These guys play a physical game, that's for sure. And that's with the helmet on.
I should think that Dano took a phone number on that one. We'll see more of him.
Well, I'm sure he'll be repaired and put back in the game. Hornskog goes up against Hasek, and Hasek wins the draw. That comes back in behind the net. A long clearance. Hasek going in from a sharp angle. Hasek trying to move in quickly, but Roland was too clever for him. Big hit there on 27 Kjellberg, and the Swedes get it out of the zone, but that was a painful escape as Kontsek threw it to the far side. Medrick. Big shot there by Hasek, but that went upstairs. And now the Slovaks are starting to throw their weight around here in the first period. 1-0 the scoreline. Hack and Lube picking up that power play goal in the first period at 7:42.
The Swedes doing a good job of getting the sticks out in front of Hasek. Otto Hasek, number 10, is a guy to watch. He's got a big shot. The 30-year-old veteran who played in the Calgary Olympic Games and was a Boston draft choice at one time, 1989 to be exact.
Right up the middle, the Swedes with Hansen fired in. And the Swedes with Hansen again. Hansen winds up, take the shot. And that just deflected up. And Hansen letting go a quick release on the far side of the rink. And Hartman had to be ready for that. Again, Hansen moves in to provide a little checking as that goes deep. And Jonsson is there to collect for the Swedes. Jonsson, the big clearance right up the middle. Hansen couldn't hang on to that. Going back in a hurry is Robert Svela. Svela dumps it back to the near side, and the Slovaks now try to get it out of the zone. Zakaric hit heavily on the boards, and Svela has to double back and do it again. Svela head manning the puck nicely, but the Swedes are doing a great job of breaking down the play in the neutral zone. Janosch handed that one off. And again, we see a breakup just before it hits the red line. 21 is Forsberg. Forsberg trying to tip it through. And we see a lot of play now in the Slovak zone. Smerdak with Svela. Svela gets away from one man. Good pass right up the middle, and this is better. Coming out now is Kolnick. Kolnick goes in right in front. Oh, good play. Janosch and Kolnick combining.
The Slovaks are on the scoreboard, much to the delight of their crowd. A good passing play. You called that one all the way down the ice, Paul. You said this stuff looks better. It's almost as if you knew it was going to happen here. The end result is a goal. The Slovaks coming to the goal at one point or another. The defense has to make a decision. The shot is taken. The end result, a goal. That's all that matters for the Slovaks. Elgatsen trying to dive across the front of the net. Wasn't ever going to be on time. Janosch with the first goal for the Slovaks.
Let's take a look at this again.
It started out nicely from their own zone. It came all the way down the ice. It appeared to go off the right leg of Janos. It doesn't matter. It is a goal. The referee is confronting with people upstairs to see, did it actually go in off a skate? Was it directed off a skate?
They do have cameras here, and like in American football, they have judges up there, which I personally don't agree with. I know there's a lot of money at stake, there's a lot of pride, a lot of prestige, but hey, it's all down to human error, and I think they should take it out of American football. And I really think they should take it out of this. It's got to be the referee's decision. It slows the game down. We see when we watch NHL hockey, it really slows the game down when they have these 70-second commercials. And look, right now the game has come to a halt. Well, this guy talks to some guy upstairs. Well, I guess it was my team. I'd be looking for this too. But I just think that it's the kind of thing that should be down to human error. Sorry, I'm a bit old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned or not, we can see the replay for ourselves. It's off his leg. There's no way that it was off the skate. That is a goal. I would think now the referee has had a quick minute to brush the sweat off his eyebrows. He's probably asking the guy what the hot dogs are like upstairs. Hey, is the beer cold? Let's get it sorted out. What's the weather like outside? He's taking a minute to rest himself. At the end of the day, I'm going to stick my neck out to say there's no way the goal should be disallowed. It is in the net. As far as I'm concerned, the Slovaks are level on a good passing play.
Well, this is the first time in this competition that this has been tested, and it certainly is taking a while. Maybe he picked up the wrong phone and he's calling home. We're slowing this one right down, having another look. Is that the skate? Is that the leg? You call it.
Well, I really haven't ever judged ice hockey play-by-play or reviews from a helicopter. The view we're being shown there is a little bit difficult, Paul. We'll wait until they get it back down to ice level. But the initial instant replay that was shown, clearly, to me, it was off the leg, not the skate. Kevin Munch, a Canadian referee, possibly trying to find the guy who's supposed to make the decision. He could very well be the guy in the queue for the hot dogs. I don't know.
Well, it gives both teams a rest up there. They didn't expect it. But this is turning into a fine game. The Slovaks have quickly brought themselves back into it. If this is allowed to stand, Hakan Lube picking up the first goal of the game on a power play with a nice pass over from Janssen. And on this occasion, my co-commentator, Richard Beaupre, is saying that Janos should be given credit for that goal.
So one thing I like about you, Paul, through your experience, you know not to stick your neck out. You're sitting here, you're letting me go right out on a limb. You'll be the first guy to hang me for this if I'm wrong, but that's okay. I've got my opinion. I think the play started out very nicely from the Slovakian end of the ice. A couple of good passes, a good flowing form of hockey for them coming down the ice. They need more of it. The score is level 1-1.
Just as I predicted. So Janos gets credit after about a minute and a half for that goal, and it's 1-1. .11:51 gone in the first period, and I still don't know if I agree with that. I really don't want to see the game delayed. I know that long commercial breaks slow up the game, and they actually even stop the game in the rink because the players don't continue. Burrow was stolen. Yulin goes in, scores! Patrick Yulin, as Burrow went down the ice, he was poke checked, and Yulin now makes it 2-1.
That's exactly the thing that the Slovaks didn't need. They've come back, they've leveled the score. A defensive lapse on their part. Their forwards gone off to the races looking for the pass. In the meantime, the Swedes are quick and they are slick. The puck is stripped off the defenseman. Yulin finds himself in on the goalie alone, and he buries the second goal. Patrick Yulin with all kinds of time, not a blue shirt in sight as he goes for the net. He has the go-ahead goal for Sweden.
12:14 the time of the goal, and the Swedes are back in the lead from the face-off. That comes back onto Marchenko's stick, and the crowd in the background giving a big roar for Yulin as Ornskog flips it up along the boards, knocked down at the blue line, but Kjellberg picks it up. Kjellberg trying to get the shot away, hooked out of position, and the Swedes now start to muster their troops in the Slovak zone. Kjellberg looking for Lube. Lube moves in front of the net. Lube is right there. Spins around. Hartman already down. And Kjellberg and Lube working well together as Batja brings it up on the wing. Stopped there by Porohelic. And that goes the distance with Janssen going deep.
The Slovaks going for a line change. The Swedes with a slow build-up coming out of their own end.
All the way down for Marchenko. Marchenko gently taps it along the boards, and the Slovaks work it up over the blue. That's a giveaway into neutralized territory, and the Swedes come out of the zone as Marchenko goes back. He leaves it there, and the Slovaks now bringing it out of the zone. A long pass goes the distance, and icing will be the call.
The forwards are very high for the Slovakian team. They came off the bench. They got back only about as far as the center red line when the puck went deep into their own end, and then they curled and were looking for a long pass. That just isn't going to work. Excellent display of forechecking, call it forechecking or backchecking by Mats Naslund. He strips the defense. He's the man that fed Yulin for the breakaway. This is the kind of stuff that Naslund was famous for in Montreal. He's like a fly on the ice, always buzzing, always running around doing things that a lot of other people just can't do without that kind of skating ability.
Action there from our reverse angle camera showed that Burrow, the last man out of the zone, stick handling nicely. Just was totally unaware that Naslund was behind him. The stick lifted, and of course Yulin was on his way. A lesson to be learned there. Hansen flips it around. Ridmark looking for places to go right across the goal. Positioned in front was Dackel. Dackel now behind the goal. Ridmark moves into the circle. Ridmark being shadowed by Hasek. Ridmark gets rid of it in a hurry, and Hansen now picks it up. Roger Hansen taken out of the play as Sakarish moves up on the left side. The Slovaks moving it up slowly. Hit the red. Sakarish, good move by him. Sakarish looking for Hasek on the right side. Hasek throws it in behind the goal. Pick up there by Duboya, and then Hasek grabs it right back again. Duboya muscles against Hasek, and Hasek comes up with a puck. Hasek in the corner looking to get into backhanding position. Eventually drops it back to Sakarish, and he couldn't get the shot away, and that's gently cleared out of the zone.
Duboya, a very physical defenseman for the Swedes, chasing Hash all over the ice. Eventually the Swedes clear the puck. Both teams changing once again on the move. We haven't had many whistles in the period.
It's physical, but it's clean out there, and the referee from Canada hasn't had a lot to do. Stillman pumps that to the far side, and the Swedes try to get it out of the zone with Eriksson only getting it as far as the blue line. At the second attempt, the Swedes come up with it. Calling for it at center was Forsberg. Forsberg didn't get the pass, but now Forsberg moves in a position. The shot comes in, and Hartman goes down. That's cleared away into the corner, and the Slovaks now back on the attack on the right side. Palfi spun out of the play. Forsberg stays on his man. Janos is there. This is the big line so far for the Slovaks. And the Swedes now looking for places to go on the far side of the rink. That didn't work. The shot trickling by number 21. Janos, who is well and truly open next to Algotsson, and the Swedes slow it down as both teams change up their lines out there. Stillman goes for a little skate. Stillman breaks on the right side. He'll go for a rest. Berglund picks it up, drops it back. Coming up on the left side is Janssen. Janssen tapped that forward, and Yulin now starts in. Yulin with a lot of pressure, a lot of weight on it, and that's just barely covered there. Hartman really didn't have it. It was at the end of his skate. The referee lost sight of it, and that was called, but Yulin working well as he broke down the left side of the rink, showing his strength as he squeezed in on goal.
Good look at Charles Berglund, another veteran, the 29-year-old national team player. Always great at helping out, getting out of his own zone. He circles back deep. He's a defenseman's dream as a forward. He'll always curl deep into the corners or come around behind the net to help out. He's usually the third man back all the time.
4 minutes left on the period now as the Slovaks try to get it out of the zone. Konsek having problems. That's delivered up to Stasny. Stasny's pass is intercepted by Naslund and dropped all the way back as Janssen calls for it deep, but the Swedes elect to get it up. Berglund taps it over to the far side. Sweden with Yulin now. Yulin squeezed out of the corner. Yulin puts himself right back into the thick of it, takes a big chop from Marchenko, but that comes all the way back to the blue. Janssen is there. throws it into the red line, and the Swedes throwing the puck around nicely with Julin doing a great job. Julin pumps it in behind the goal. Bacha doubles back.
I like this line. Julin out on the ice with Naslund and Berglund. Berglund, a veteran, Naslund, a veteran, and they put the kid between them. Julin, well, on the left wing, actually, Julin, the 23-year-old, is out there doing a good job with two veterans.
Elbowing the call from the Canadian official. And we had a long period without a whistle out there, and that's been the spell of this game as Kolnick, number 28, goes to the penalty box.
Kolnick for elbowing on the play. A little look at how things can get rough. Mats Naslund, no stranger to that, takes the elbow and bounces right off it. Canadian referee Kevin Munch hasn't had a lot to do. 3 minor penalties in the period so far, all going against the Slovaks.
Pushed in by Johansson as that comes all the way back to the blue line. Long shot comes in. Hartman batted that forward. It's still not out of the way, but eventually pushed forward by a glove hand, and the Canadian referee says, hey, out of the zone.
Very assertive with the call. He wasn't far away from the play. Wants the face-off to come outside as the Swedes had directed it with the glove. It'll give Edward Hartman a little bit of breathing space as he waits in his goal. The Slovaks have been outshot throughout the period, and they're now playing in a man-down situation once again.
Lube goes for a skate, throws it up to 15. Ornskog. Ornskog tries to return the favor, and that's cleared out of the zone with Stillman going back, or rather Johansson. Johansson working on the power play for Sweden. Hakanlu breaks up on the right side. Ornskog drops it back. Duboya elects to bounce that off the boards, and the Slovaks unable to contain the puck, and Sweden hangs on to it. Lube calling for it, gets it in the circle. Lube, little cat and mouse. His pass over to Christian Duboya was a bouncing pass, and Duboya couldn't contain it, but Lube now drops it back. Lube's pass was intercepted by Hasak, who's doing a great job of playing some two-way hockey out there for the Slovaks.
It was a good move by Lube, but it didn't fool Hasak at all. He eventually knew that that back pass was going to be there.
Stillman throwing it off to Forsberg. Forsberg going in on the backhand side. He's brought down. Smerchak. And eventually Jonsson picks it up. Bergqvist. The side of the net. Bergqvist had time and tried to get it back to the blue. And the Slovaks, with 23 seconds on the power play, move up with Palfi. Palfi drops it off. And Petrovitsky was taken heavily out of the play as Forsberg comes back on the right side. Good move as he gets around one man. That bobbles high, but stays in the zone. Jonsson bangs it off the boards into the corner. And the Swedes now set it up. Coming in quickly is Bergqvist, but the pass didn't come his way as he moved into right in front of Hartman. The whistle blows as the icing whistle is sounded, and icing is the call.
Kolnick has served his 2-minute elbowing penalty. The Slovaks are now back at full strength. They've had 3 penalties, given up 1 power play goal, but overall 33% isn't bad against this power play that the Swedes have got. They've stopped 2 out of 3, and they've done it by forcing the Swedes. You can't let Lube or Naslund or these guys hold the puck all day. They can control the game and dictate the play. It's being taken away from them by the Slovaks' hustle.
Goodmark lost the draw, and Bacha picks it up. Bacha in the final minute of play. Still with Jurgis Bacha as he fires that all the way around the Swedish goal. Comes up to Stasny. He couldn't hang on to it. Hansen feeds it over in a 3-on-3 situation now. 3-on-4 now as Bacha picks it up deep. The Slovaks getting back in a hurry. They seem to have picked up their game gear as this goes down to the final few seconds. Thrown in deep. Hansen stays on his man, and the Swedes trying to move it up quickly in the dying seconds, with Hansen electing to go back into his own zone. The Swedes making the full use of this large rink here, with Dacko tying the puck up on the boards. Janssen. A lazy pass over to another Janssen. I think you're safe if you say Janssen or Anderson whenever the Norwegians or the Swedes are playing. Janssen drops it back, almost got himself into trouble, but there goes the whistle to end the first period of play. 2-1 the score. The Swedes with goals from Lube and Julin. Janos supplying the only goal, a controversial one that had to be tested for Slovakia.
Good first period for both teams. The Slovaks, I think, will take their notes, and they know what they've got to do. They've got to stay out of the box. Number one, 3 minor penalties. It only burned them once, but they need to stay at even strength and put a little bit more pressure on Algotsson in the Swedish goal.
This will have been seen, and we can start forming our opinions, but right now it's live action from Lillehammer. In the second period, the Swedes playing from left to right, and as I said, leading 2-1. Bacha pumps that through, and a chance early days. The score! Hasek! Oh, just a handful of seconds on the clock.
What a start to the period for Slovakia. They came out quickly, established themselves straight away. Whatever was said to the players between the periods, it has worked, accidentally or on purpose. Satan has the first goal of this period. Seconds into the start of the second period, we're on level terms again, 2-2.
Hasek setting him up nicely. A great threading of the needle out there, and 11 seconds gone on the period. Good stuff from the Slovaks, and it's all level.
This Satan guy is one of the players, once again, that the NHL are looking at. We didn't say a lot about him before the game. We didn't know a lot about him, to be honest. He's a 20-year-old kid with a promising future ahead of him.
Drifted all the way in, and the last time that the Slovaks scored, the Swedes responded quickly. Hasek taken out of the play, and now the Slovaks come on the attack again. Moving in quickly is Konsek. Going to be a penalty on the play, shot all the way around to the far side, and it's going to go against the Swedes as the Slovaks pull their goalie. Hartman is out. They've got an extra attacker on the ice, and as soon as the Swedes touch the puck, the whistle will blow eventually. There it is, and holding is the call.
Swedes seem to be a little bit too relaxed at this point. A 2-1 lead after 20 minutes of play. That has been rubbed out. The score is level, and Berglund finds himself in the penalty box. The first opportunity for us to have a look at the Slovakian power play. Berglund being called for holding. We haven't played a full minute yet in the second period. We've seen 1 goal and 1 penalty already. It's all action.
54 seconds gone on the clock, holding the stick. The call. Let's see if we can pick up this move earlier on by Satan. He brought it onto the forehand side and pumped it through the pads.
Paul, you were a goalie. You know that goalies hate that move. They just hate it when the player comes in, lets them make one little move to commit themselves, and then slips a puck between the legs.
I used to hate every move. Little drop back along the boards by Konsek. And the Slovaks coming in now. The goaltender goes down, the backhand shot from Sakaris, right in the circle, a chance now, good save by Algotsson, as Medrick was there to pepper it at the net. A chance now as number 15, Ornskog, goes in, and that just scoots by the side of the goal as Sakaris dumps it back, and the Slovaks regain their composure out there. Hasek slows it down, Sakaris working with him.
Sakaris, a defenseman, found himself in a prime scoring opportunity as he was right in on the goaltender. Didn't really make the most of it. That was a great chance for the Slovaks to take the lead.
Janssen spun around and drove that down the ice. Sakaris moved up quickly but couldn't trap it inside the blue. The puck came out over the blue. He brought it in, and the offside whistle blows. I think a lot of people are looking towards the moment when the Slovaks play the Czechs. That'll be interesting. It may not happen in this competition. Who knows? 2-2 the score as we approach the second minute. of play. Smerciak got it to the far side. Another whistle on the play. The Canadian referee seems to be right on top of things. Push forward with the palm of the hand, and will have a face-off in neutralized territory. Dropped all the way back, and Smerciak fanned on the clearance. Hansen will get this and throw it down the wing. 47 seconds on the penalty to Berglund. Smerciak, long clearance, the return pass. And the Slovaks struggling to get out of the zone right now. Smerciak drops it off, and a chance now for 21 Janos. Janos going for Smerciak. Smerciak heads up hockey, makes a move at the blue line, tries to get away from Jonsson, and he does, but another Jonsson comes along and peppers it down the boards. Zvela takes his man out of the play, but not before the puck is cleared into neutralized territory. Palfi tries to throw that over to the far side, and Jonsson goes after his man, and then Jonsson picks up the puck and throws it out to the blue line. Hansen, some good stuff from him, and the Swedes now are motoring as they move down on the right side. Jonsson tries to get the pass over to Roger Hansen, and that didn't work. A chance now coming in as Petrovicki is taken out of the play heavily right in the circle, but Palfi keeps the puck. Janos bumps it off the backboards. And the Swedes back at full strength. Palfi forechecking there for the Slovak team. Jonsson waiting for the change of personnel for the Swedes. Long pass is a good one into neutralized territory. Big shot well wide of the target. And the Swedes with Bergqvist letting it fly out there. Now it's a chance to score! Whoa, that's an important goal for this guy. It means so much to him. Peter Stastny let go the big shot. A moment ago, it was the Swedes having a pop at goal. How many times has Stastny done that in his career?
Doing his best not to show any emotion. You know, inside, this guy is eating it right up. He loves it. The leader of this team lets it rip very quickly. Something that a lot of people have seen him do in the NHL. Gets the shot away. It seems to totally fool Elgatsen, and the Slovaks are in the lead 3-2. Great end-to-end action. The game has really opened up. The Swedes successfully killing off a penalty. Bergqvist going one way and letting it go. Stastny the other way, but the Slovaks got it over the red line, and they're now out in front.
3-2 the score. Let's take a look at Stastny winding up, letting the shot go, and that went off the blocker. Elgatsen well out of his net to cut down the angle. Now he manages to smile. Forsberg taken out at center, but he somehow got it back to the winger, and the Swedes throwing it in with Dakel getting a push on the puck. Going in quickly is Kolnick. Kolnick couldn't handle the puck along the boards, and the Swedes now set it up quickly. Eriksson squeezed out of the play. The Slovaks are putting their game together. Some good defensive work in their own zone, and a chance now with the Slovaks moving in quickly. Right out front is Hasek. Hasek looking for places to go, and the pass didn't come his way. Eriksson throws it over for Forsberg. Forsberg taps it up on the left wing, and Sweden now break up in numbers. Svella takes his man heavily into the boards, and the Swedes now with Julin. Forsberg. Return pass back to Forsberg, and Forsberg finds himself coming out over the blue, drops it back, and Sweden using the complete width of the ice, but this time it's Svella who gets in the way and breaks it up. Smerciak couldn't handle that puck that bobbled over a stick. Julin is there, and he can't slow it down. It comes all the way out to center, and Stillman peppers it right back in. Hartman is there. Svella now. Cat and mouse from both teams as they try to set something up. As far as the blue line, that comes all the way out. The intended pass is deflected high over the camera, over the plexi, and into the seats. And both teams will go for a change.
Once again, we're quite a long time before there's a whistle. Both teams will take the opportunity to just settle things down and reorganize. Roland goes to the bench. Julin had already made his way off. Palfi brought his line out onto the ice during the play for Slovakia. good end-to-end action. The crowd really enjoying it. Both teams skating very well right now.
We've seen some excellent games so far in this competition, and this is only day 2. Janssen threw it to the far side. The return pass to Thomas Janssen. Janssen starts to bring it up on the right side. This player is playing a big part in the defensive and offensive workings of the Swedish team. Coming up now, Janos. Janos elects to throw that into the corner. Janssen was all over him. Kenny Janssen now starts it up on the far side. It was nice for the Swedish coach to put 2 Janssens on the defense at the same time. Hartman to Janos.
We called him, didn't you, and asked him to do that in case we were confused.
Sorry to go over you. The shot right on Hartman. He's put it into the corner. Ornskog was out front trying to get things going. Hartman goes down. And again, the Swedes with Janssen applying a lot of pressure out there. That was killed away. Palfi now starts to move out front. The shot goes in, and Janssen comes up with a loose puck behind the goal as Hakan Algatsen went down to make the save. And this game, as you said, Richard, is opening up, and we're seeing some great opportunities for both teams out there. Hakan Lube, wink wide pass over to the far side, and the Swedes, with a lot of time to move, change their personnel. Hartman hangs on to that and forces the whistle to complete the change.
Good play by Hartman. When the puck went into the glove, he properly protected it, but had a good look around to see what was happening with his players. The Slovaks wanted a line change, and by Hartman holding on to the puck, they're able to complete the change now. Good action earlier. Petrovici going hard for the goal, unable to get the finishing touch on it. Johansson really hadn't covered him.
Nice understanding between Palfi and Petrovici. It just didn't connect on that occasion. Slovaks looking to get the quick break. That bounces off a Swedish stick as Johansson goes deep. No icing on the plate. Johansson, long pass right up the middle. They tried to do a similar thing, and that didn't work either, so icing is the call.
Swedes playing an interesting style on the breakout right now. They're looking for the long passes. The 3 forwards are all doing loops and curls, staying in their own lanes though. They're not crossing over very much, but they're all doing a curl out high, coming back toward the play, and then trying to get the defender to lay off between them and the puck carrier.
We've got the wave going around the building, but it suddenly comes to an abrupt halt when it gets to the commentators' boxes. Can't understand why. From the top of the circle, Bacha. Bacha goes in, Hansen goes on him, Bacha right in front, that's in the net! Stasny talking to the Canadian official. He's indicating there's a penalty on the play.
There definitely was a whistle blown, Paul. You could hear it. The Slovaks are going to contest this. Bacha had stepped up from his defensive position. He had gone around the goal. The big guy, not the easiest person in the world to push off the puck, was doing his job of leaning. Did the wraparound. The puck went into the goal. Both teams now asking questions.
This game has no shortage of incidents out there. Stasny, the captain, is not happy with that call. They continue to talk to the officials out there.
Kevin Munch, the Canadian referee, had signaled a holding penalty. Both teams are confused as to who it is. A look at Bacha stepping up from the right defensive spot, going around the net. There is hooking and holding going on away from the play.
Rydmark was being called for holding the stick. He's number 17 for Sweden. The hold came in the far corner. He was all over Stasny.
If that's the case, then Paul, the goal should stand because the Swedes have to touch the puck, so the whistle can be blown. Until then, it's Slovakian puck all the way.
Rydmark goes at 6:51 for holding the stick.
Well, right off the face-off, Rydmark has got Stasny all tied up. He's holding on to his stick. That's all well and good, but the play continues. The Swedes have to touch the puck for the whistle to blow.
all the way back to the blue, and that's brought in over the line. And we'll have a whistle on the play and another face-off.
The referee's decision must have been based on the fact that the puck did hit goaltender Elgotson before it went over the red line. That's an awful quick whistle. It was a matter of a split second for it hitting Elgotson, then going into the goal. That's got to be the basis of his argument. Stastny questioned it for ages. If the goal does not count, the Swedes have a man in the penalty box. The Slovaks a power play.
Rydmark sitting for two as Hasek drops it back. Rydmark guilty of holding the stick, as we said, on the face-off. And the Slovaks bring it up, and the Slovaks are having a good period. Kunček drops it to the top of the circle. Hasek, who is playing an important role out there, fires it in over the red line. The return pass to Otto Hasek. Hasek, shot coming in, that deflected as Zakaric got it over. And the shot taken from the top of the slot.
Thomas Janssen got a piece of it, went off his leg high up into the crowd. Slovaks are having an excellent period. 28, Ludimir Kolnik. Big, strong guy, sees a lot of action on the power play. Him in number 10, Hasek, never stopped working.
26-year-old Kolnik spent a lot of time with the Czech national team, playing World Championships in '91 and the Canada Cup, the same year. Drafted by New Jersey in 1990. Elgotson watched that as it came almost to his doorstep. Johansson cleared at the distance of the ice. And Zakaric goes back deep. Still a power play situation for 59 seconds. And the Swedes bump and grind in neutral ice territory. And Zakaric will have to go back again. Hartman fires it to the far side. Janos is there to pick it up, but not before the whistle blows. Put the net back on its moorings, and we'll do that again. Still a power play situation. 3-2 the score. This one is live from Lillehammer in Norway. As we continue our attempt to bring you every game of this 46-game tournament. And my co-commentator is picking himself up off the floor.
It's the tone of your voice, Paul, that bothers me when you say that.
Well, we'll be lucky if we have voices left at the end of it. Marchenko picks himself up. Petrovitsky tries to thread the eye of the needle to Palfi. He's beaten to the puck there by Berglund. Berglund sees that rattle off of Plexi, and Smerchak now drops it back. Petrovitsky. He has trouble with the puck, and the Slovaks are having problems with their concentration out there, unless there's something on the ice that we don't know about.
Well, it's going to have to be something that's covering from the red line all the way to the Slovak goal, because they're having trouble getting it out of their zone.
Smerchak gets a rough ride from Johansson, and the Swedes are back at full strength. That's shot all the way down the ice, and the whistle will blow. Icing is the call.
Not a very good power play exhibition put on by the Slovaks. Rydmark is back on the ice. The Swedes have killed it off.
21-year-old Zygmunt Palfi, the number 2 draft choice of the New York Islanders in '91, takes a break. This guy is one to watch. And this is usually where you see them first, isn't it? At the Olympics or the World Championships, and then they move on to the NHL.
Palfi's got great stick handling ability, and he's got good speed on the outside. That's what's been the power of his game.
Lube being shadowed by Stastny, gets rid of the puck, throws it to the far side. The return pass comes in, and the Swedes now start to move the puck up slowly. Moving on the right side is Rolin calling for the puck, and the Swedes slam on the brakes. With Ornskog trapped on the blue line, Lube goes after his man, and the Swedes now go on the defensive. Kjellberg tries to pick up the puck from Stastny. Marchenko fired that one forward, and Stillman goes back to collect. Stillman bangs it off the boards, and that goes the distance with Batja in his own zone. Twisting and turning, getting it up, looking for Stasny, who throws it deep. Marchenko. Lube trying to get away from Stasny as he does, throws it in the corner. Some good stick handling out there from the Swedes. All the way back to the blue. Hartman well out of his net, but the shot well and truly wide. Janssen feeds it into the circle. There's no one there to pick it up, and Batcha goes for a skate on the far side. Lube takes a heavy hit from behind by Marchenko. No penalty on the play, and the Slovaks hit the red with Marchenko firing it all the way down the ice. Petrovitsky steps on the ice for the Slovaks. And back on the attack comes Dakel. Dakel squeezed out of the play. Hansen goes in to help. Rydmark. Thrown up onto the wing to Dakel. Dakel works his way through up on the right side. Some good stick handling from number 24 going in. Hasek goes in heavy, but Dakel stays on his feet. A little support there from Medrick. Hasek now a little pushing and shoving. 1, 2, 3, eventually 4 Slovaks in behind the red line. Medrick taps it forward. A quick break now for the Slovaks. Long shot off the back of the boards. Kolnick got a piece of it. Now Gotson eventually comes up with the glove on the puck, and Janssen and Rydmark come in to clear a path.
Goaltender Elgotson has looked shaky on some of the long shots. The pucks come off the backboards very lively, and a few times he's really had to make a good second effort to come up with the puck. Quite possibly the Slovaks have noticed that. They're shooting from out high and then really going in hard on the rebounds, making life miserable for the likes of Thomas Janssen, who you just saw going to the bench.
Petrovitsky gets set with 11 minutes gone in the second period. Petrovitsky tries to drop it back. Janosch can't get a handle on it. Kolnick eventually shoots it deep into the zone. Johansson ties his man up. Duboya pumps it to the far side. The Swedes back in numbers start to work out. Forsberg breaking down the left side, moving it perhaps a little too quickly. The shot comes in. Janosch is there. Loose puck. Petrovitsky right in front. Palfi moves in quickly. Some good pressure from the Slovaks.
Petrovitsky, a very aggressive forward. I like the way this guy plays. He's got good goal-scoring ability, but he's not shy to throw the dukes. Had a good go at Dubois in front of the net. Petrovitsky right around the front of the goal, gets the first shot off. The second opportunity is there for 21 Janos. Petrovitsky gives the puck a kick. Had that gone into the goal, that would not have counted. You could clearly see him kick the puck. First shot, second shot, there's the third attempt. It's kicked by Petrovitsky. He's still fighting Dubois off. The save is made, and he gives Dubois a couple of good extra shots just to let him know he's in town.
There's a good angle from our camera in the sky.
Canadian referee Munch went directly over to Petrovitsky, had a word with him. Petrovitsky followed him to the penalty box, as well as Dubois. The two of them will get roughing penalties. That's a good job by the referee just to even it up. They both had a couple of good blows going each other's way.
Take a little steam out of the attack for both teams out there as they settle down with one man each in the penalty box. Johansson. And the Swedes bringing it up to the red line, shooting it in. Hartman well and truly out of his net, threw it over, and Palfi is there to bring it back up on the right side. Palfi, his shot is deflected, or his pass rather is deflected. Rolin to the far side. The Swedes back to Rolin, taking their time as they work it through the neutral zone. Coming up to Naslin. Naslin on the backhand side, looking to get things going, being shadowed by Palfi. And that broke nicely for the Slovaks. A little pass forward by Zvela. Palfi is there. And Zvela, the big defenseman, found himself right up on the blue going forward as Palfi goes for a break.
The referee telling the Slovaks not to say a word to the linesman. They had a little go as the offsides was called. Palfi with a good burst of speed. Had a player in front of him, though, just ahead of the blue line. Offside being the call.
3-2 the score. Slovak Republic hanging on to that lead here in the second period. Face-off just outside the Swedish zone as that comes back to Marchenko. 12:15 gone, and Batcha taps it forward. The return pass to Jurgis Batcha. Bacha over the blue. 58 seconds on the coincidental penalties. Bacha throws it over to the far side, and the Slovaks do an intelligent job of building it up out there. Satan loses control behind the goal, and Jonsson takes it for a ride. Jonsson, this guy can move. He's also got a great shot. Jonsson couldn't hang on to it. That's taken away. Stasny slams on the brakes, directs the pass over. Bacha is there, and so is Satan, and they're offside.
Once again, we see Jurgis Bacha on the move. Big mobile defenseman. Likes to have a good go. This time he was just a stride behind Satan, who's also another very quick forward for the Slovaks.
The Swedes, the Russians, the Czechs, the Finns, they've all got these big defensemen who can really move. They can handle the puck well, and there's no surprise when you see them in front of the net peppering the goaltenders. I remember the Tisov used to do it day in, day out for the Soviet Union when he was around, and I think he set the trend for a lot of teams, because you need these guys to go forward as well as your forwards. It really does add something to your attack out there. Stationary defensemen back on the blue line are no good to anyone. Hashak goes into the corner, comes right out in front of his goal. Otto Hashak, number 10, hits the blue, hits the red, drops it back. Intercepted nicely. Some good stuff from Roland. Stolen right back by the Slovaks. This is good stuff. The shot. Now Gotson letting the rebound come right out with 2 seconds on the penalties out there. Now both teams are back at full strength as Rydmark works his way through the neutral zone. Rydmark's pass is forward. And Petrovici jumps on the ice. And the whistle blows.
Let me finish it, and Petrovici will go directly back to the penalty box.
And he says, I wasn't out there long enough to do anything wrong. Change of personnel for both teams. Well,
having said that, Petrovici pulled the man down, waved his arms in the air. Kevin Munch went over and had a word with him, and then elected to take Sakaris. It was a 2-on-1. He had one of the two. Sakaris with a potential trip, Petrovici with a potential hook. Eventually, Sakaris, who had circled well away from the goal, thought he was going for a line change, was directed to go back to the penalty box.
Stillman fakes the shot on goal and goes the other way to Lube, and the Swedes now set it up in the Slovak zone. Lube on the hash marks, drops it all the way back. Stillman is calling for it. Stillman is pumped. Jonsson pumps and lets the shot go and misses the target. Stillman moves in quickly to pick it up and bounce it off the boards. Back to Jonsson, back to Stillman. Stillman lets it fly, and that took a deflection. And that was never really on the cards. He was being closed down quickly, and he's lucky that didn't bounce into neutral ice territory.
It wasn't exactly the prime place for the shot anyways, but Stillman was under a lot of pressure. The Slovaks moving the box right out high to try and take that shot away from the Swedes.
Take a look at the Swedish bench as Michael Sundlund, the backup goalie to Algotsson, takes a break. A chance for Jonsson. Jonsson had a chance to shoot. He took too long on the puck. The goaltender was well out of his net. Stillman gathers it on this side. He slammed on the brakes, talking about Jonsson, and thought about doing something clever perhaps. Who knows what went through his mind. 1:10 on the power play. Stillman up on the wing. Jonsson goes in after it, but the Slovaks get it out to the Swedish blue line. A tap forward, and back on the attack come the Swedes. Going in quickly is Stillman. Stillman takes it over to the far side. Jonsson lets the shot go. Hartman went down, and that ricochets all the way around the rink and comes back onto Stillman's stick. Stillman throws it up quickly onto the blue line. Jonsson finds himself on the wrong point, gets it into the corner. Jonsson back at the blue, working with Stillman nicely, but they can't get the quality shots on goal. Naslund into the corner. Back into Naslund. Back to the blue, to Jonsson, to Stillman. Back to Jonsson. A lot of passing, a lot of moving, but they're waiting for that golden opportunity. Naslund. Stillman lets the wrist shot go. Or did he fan on it? Naslund moves in quickly. Janssen is there. Stillman, good defensive work. Hasek went down like a goaltender and blocked that. Some good stuff with 3 seconds on the penalty. Stillman tries to bring it up quickly, and that goes the distance. Zaketish on that disputed penalty gets out of the penalty box, and the face-off will be in Swedish territory.
Successful job of killing off the penalty. The Swedes were tired. They iced the puck. Back to 5-on-5.
Hartman keeping himself busy in there.
Otto Hasek, number 10, who has done a lot of work setting plays up, doing the nice thing defensively. It's good to see a forward go down and block a shot like that. It took a lot of the strength right out of the power play. Twice he got his body in front of shots.
Dekel brings it up on the right side, being shadowed by Janos, who took the puck away from him, but the Swedes come up with the puck with Johansson shooting it in. Palfi and Svella in the corner. Somehow the Swedes are beating the Slovaks to the puck in the corner on just about every occasion. That bobbles away from Duboya. Now it's stolen by Palfi. Janos comes up. Janos trying to get the shot away. There weren't too many yellow jerseys there, and that went off a skate. Quickly forward, number 24, Dekel. Dekel tries to break through. Hansen will now try his luck, but Janos is there to clear it to the near side. A lot of following through on the hits. Rydmark pumps it to the far side, and the Swedes again. Great move there, and the Swedes pump it up. Hansen goes in to help out. A little clutching and grabbing right there. Some good stuff from both teams as they rough it up. Smerchak guilty perhaps of a little holding in the corner.
A little holding. He had the bear hug on from behind the net all the way into the far corner. Then two more players came in, a couple of punches thrown, a couple of high elbows. Kevin Munch was trying to pick his spot as to who he was going to call a penalty on and where was he going to call it. You can see Munch in the back of the picture. He's quite a ways away from the play, but he can see what's happening.
Smerchak was all over Duboya. And roughing is the call on number 5 for the Slovaks.
The original call could have been molesting. He had just about done everything but take his credit cards off him to get him into the corner to begin with.
Forsberg steps into the circle. 3-2 the score out there in the second period. This was live on Eurosport. Day 2, game 1. That eludes Stillman. He has to get back in a hurry. Stillman is trapped. The pass all the way across the opening there as number 18 Satson gets it deep. Janssen now working with Stillman. Janssen leaves it, and the Swedes with Lube. Lube coming up on the right side. Lube in that familiar crouched over position. Hartman finds that right on the doorstep with Lube there along with Bergqvist, and elects to hang on. A clever move, and so we'll have a face-off deep in Slovak territory.
A couple of good moves by Lube. The Slovaks reading the play. Miroslav Satan just getting his stick on the puck, and it ended up back in the goaltender's crease. There wasn't any way that Hartman was going to take chances. The face-off will stay deep in Slovakian territory as they're attempting to kill off this penalty to Smerchak.
Lube going for the treble, as we said. 33-year-old has a World Championship medal, Stanley Cup medal, and now he wants the Olympic gold. Into the corner. Good checking from Hasek. Can't stop saying good things about him as he works up now. Hasek, 3 Slovaks breaking into the zone, and Hasek decides to go for a skate and then shoots it down the ice. Janssen goes deep. 1 minute on the power play. Janssen comes up to the blue line, throws it on the wing to Forsberg. Forsberg, a rink-wide pass, and the Swedes set it up nicely. Shot comes in, and Hartman got it right in the midriff. And a lot of traffic, a lot of action just to the side of Hartman.
Jonas Bergqvist finding out that if you want to hang around in front of the goal, you're in for a rough ride. Hartman being allowed to have sight of the puck through the courteous work by his defensemen of taking bodies away from the front of the net. Janssen stepping right in from his defensive spot with a good move and a quick shot. Right up into the breadbasket area, the goaltender. He's going to hold on, and he's got help from his friends back there.
Medrick getting very physical at the top of the crease, bringing his man down. And that's the kind of thing a goalie loves to see. Give me all the support you can out there as we take a look at that camera in the goal. Boy, that's spooky. We're going to be seeing goaltenders with messages on their back to their families back home. Hi, Ma. How are the kids? Bergqvist in front of the net. Got a rough ride. Medrek is also in there.
The pair of them going off the ice for roughing. Kevin Munch just trying to keep control of this game. He's not going to let too much of the rough stuff happen. It was an opportunity for him to send one off from each side.
Kjellberg doing a great job along the boards, working well with Berglund. Kjellberg, after that limited NHL experience, throwing his weight around in the far corner.
Robert Spella on the receiving end of that check.
This is space-age stuff out there. That camera going right around and around. And there's another camera behind that, taking a picture of the camera behind that.
You just love that camera, Paul. I'm going to go over to your house in about a month, be playing street hockey with my kids and yours, and there's going to be a camera in Casey's net.
Behind the goal, still pressure as Svella tries to scoop it out. And the officials having words out there as things start to get a little physical and play breaks down. Naslund is not happy.
That's Naslund with a few words of wit for the referee. The crowd reacting. A good group of supporters on hand for the Swedes.
Naslund wanted the face-off in the zone. It came out the blue and it shot all the way down to Algotsson. Play seems to have broken down here for a moment anyway. Long shot in. Berglund goes in, tries to direct it out front. That took a deflection. Comes back to Johansson. Johansson can't control it. And number 5, Smerchak, steps on the ice. A long pass through center ice, and now a chance for Palffy. Palffy winds up, fakes the shot. Looking for a little support. The backhander, Algotsson, went over. Spella was there. Petrovicki is right on the goal line. And the Slovaks are saying, hey, it went over. But the Canadian referee says, no way.
It's also nice to see that friends don't forget each other. Dubois from Sweden and Petrovicki giving each other a couple more shots. This has been going on throughout the period. Excellent pass across the ice, the one-time attempt from 44, Robert Spella. That goes wide, but we keep saying how lively the puck boards are. Very quickly, the play was right back in front of the net. Algotsson doing anything he can do to get a piece of it. Petrovicki in there poking and hacking away to try and get the puck behind him.
He had the puck, and then for a moment it eluded him, started skirting in the wrong direction as far as he's concerned. But then he hung on. Stastny gets set for this one. And the Swedes will have to do this with a different man in the center. Coming up to the final minute of play. Marchenko drops it over to the far side. Stillman pokes that one through. Marchenko comes in now. 1 minute left on the period. The tip off the side of the net. 18. Sutton is there, getting a little support from Stastny. Stastny trying to do the wraparound. Stastny and Stillman fall to the ice. Some good close checking stuff out there. Hansen takes his man out heavily. A chance to shoot from way back in. Stastny at the side of the net. Stastny still getting a rough ride from Stillman out there. Stillman is all over him like a glove puppet. Hansen goes after Stastny now as everyone roughs it up. And around Algotson's net, and that's lofted high into the lights, and it comes down. Marchenko goes for a skate.
Another good shift for the Slovaks. Stillman and company under a lot of pressure down in the Swedish end of the ice. Stasny's line doing a good job of keeping the puck down low.
Final 10 seconds of play out there, and Vacha will go back for this one. Vacha behind his own net. 5 seconds now on the clock. Vacha happy just to bang that off the boards. And the whistle goes, and then the buzzer goes. And that's the way it ends after 40 minutes of hockey. 3-2, the Slovaks now in the lead. Some good stuff from Janos, Satin, and Stasny to put them in the lead. Lube started things off, and then Julin got a goal in the first period. That gave them 2. And then it was Janos, Satin, and Stasny. As I said, 3-2 scoreline. A bit of a surprise scoreline. Teams going to the dressing room. And we have a break by the boys in yellow, that's for sure.
You've got to give the Slovakians a lot of credit. They've really gotten stronger and stronger as the game has gone on. The Swedes seem to be overpowering them and taking control in the beginning. But this Slovakian team is just very quick, and they seem to get stronger and stronger. The Swedes are under a lot of pressure, and Elgotson in the Swedish goal has been shaky from time to time.
He really hasn't looked that confident. Hansen got the pass from Jonsson. A long clearance off the backboards, and 1 or 2 words will be spoken to Roger Hansen as he brushed against the goaltender. But we talked about the plexi and the boards behind the goal. They really are like a springboard, and that puck flies back off the boards almost as fast as it goes in. And it is a goaltender's nightmare.
I'm sure that the teams have worked this out in practice and in the warm-ups. The goaltenders, especially, you could see Hartman on that play, very quick to react as soon as the puck went behind him.
All the way back to the blue. The Swedes now applying the pressure. Hartman comes up with a big save. Forsberg looking for Hansen. Hansen back to Forsberg, who's on the hash marks. Forsberg now dipsy-doodling along the blue, drops it off. Jonsson comes in on the backhand side and elects to give it back. Some good stuff from the Swedes as they try to get into the perfect position yet again to take the shot, and it doesn't happen.
The second period saw the Slovaks come out quickly. The third has seen the Slovaks sit back on their heels a little and let the Swedes bring the play to them. They aren't going to be able to afford to get away with that for much longer.
Hansen looking for the drop pass, and he gets it. Tries to take it through 2 players, but Sakaric picks it up and throws it up on the left side as both teams go for a change out there. Medrick calling for it on this side, but the Slovaks elect to take it forward. And offside is the call. Anyone who's here. A lot of support for both teams in this Hacken Hall. The Slovaks, for the first time, getting a chance to show their colors. They played some excellent hockey in the preliminary tournament in Sheffield in England in August to beat the Japanese, the British, the Poles, and the Latvians, and to qualify for this tournament. They really did pile on the pressure, but they had a little help back then. Seeger and Bondra and Anton Stasny. The Swedes now working in. Shot comes in, and that hit the plexi just over the top of the net. Julin doing some shadowing there on Medrick. Medrick comes out on the left side of the net, decides to take the puck with him at the second attempt. Kensek, Medrick, back to Kensek. Kensek fakes the first shot, goes in, and that deflects into the corner. And Kensek follows right through. Hasek is there. He delivers that right out front. Some good stuff from Otto Hasek. No one there to help him. And back comes Lube. Lube hits the blue line, throws it into the near side. Berglund got a tip. Naslund was there too, but Hartman comes up with the glove hand save. Nothing too difficult for him.
To Hartman's credit, though, he's got excellent reflexes. He's a very quick goalie. He reacts ever so fast, and when he is down, he's right back up in a flash.
The breakup of Czechoslovakia has meant that Hartman gets a starting position out there. And who knows if the Czechoslovakia had remained as a unit, would he even be on the team? He played for the World Championship team. back in '90. Didn't see any action. Svela, who also played for the Czechoslovakian team, fires that right up the middle, looking for the quick break as Stillman moves in to pick it up. Petrovicki was the intended receiver. Rydmark goes back behind the goal. Stillman slams on the brakes, slows it down. Petrovicki stays out there, and the Swedes getting a lot of pressure as they try to move it out with Rydmark unable to get beyond Janos. Rydmark to Stillman. Stillman, the big defenseman, moves up on the left side, fires it into the far corner. Lube is right there. And the shot goes right under Hartman, and eventually he smothers it. A lot of grabbing and holding right in front of Hartman. That seemed to go into slow motion. No one able to get a shot or a clear shot on goal.
As we've just given Hartman a lot of pats on the back, he didn't look overly sharp on that one. A hard puck to handle. It took a weird and wonderful bounce, but a good job of defense by Smirchiak to take Hakan Lube right out of the play. Lube, the guy with the first sniff of the puck, trying to get in there. His stick is tied up very nicely by Smirchiak. Hartman down and out, looking like a beached whale, just hoping the puck will end up underneath him, and that's what happens.
Hornskog came in and took a swipe at it too, and couldn't get a piece of it. Batcha now along the boards. That only goes as far as Johnson back at the blue. The shot comes in from a sharp angle, and again Hartman is there to put the glove to it. The pressure continues here in the third period. Stasny giving instructions, and if anybody knows, this guy knows. Face off deep in Slovak territory, and as I said, the Swedes continue to pile on the pressure here. Hansen gets it over to the hash marks. The return pass right in front is cleared away. Hansen goes over to pick up his stick, and Marchenko says, "Who, me?" Take a look at that net as they put it back on its moorings.
Good one-on-one coverage around the front of the goal. The defensemen for the Slovakian team are containing the Swedish forwards very nicely right now. The likes of Naslund, Forsberg, they're really quick. You can't give them a step. And at this point, the Slovakians have done a very adequate job of just pushing them away from the front of the goal and not letting them freewheel around like they'd like to do.
I know in some countries, referees and linesmen still refuse to wear helmets. A lot of them wear helmets, but it's rare that you see one with a helmet and a visor.
Well, it's only there for their protection. A high stick or a little jam up along the boards. If a referee's unable to get out of the way, he's going to get the worst of it. There's some countries where you even see the organ players wearing helmets and visors.
They need it the way they play in some countries. One or two problems with the net. A couple of chips and the ice around the hole, and it does make it difficult to slot it back in and difficult to keep it there. This guy Munch doesn't seem to miss a trick out there. 3-2 to score. Slovak Republic leading the Swedes. A surprise scoreline for a lot of people.
It is critical that that net sits properly on the red line, but Munch, this is the second or third time that there's been a little incident. He really makes a meal out of it. I think the guy's paid by the hour rather than the game. He's now got the maintenance crew coming out.
Janssen, the man with the drill, he says, "You do it. I don't get paid to do this." Nobody wants to do it. And the officials now look and say, "How do you turn this thing on? There's no cord to it." Well, he'll plug it in somewhere, I'm sure. What he has to do is drill a little hole and eventually slide the net back in.
Well, you never know who's watching these games. Quite possibly Black & Decker or somebody will jump on the opportunity for sponsorship after seeing something like this go on.
They missed a golden opportunity there, didn't they? Hartman is happy. The officials are happy. And hopefully we can get underway with this game. 3-2, as I said, here in the third and final period. Canada and the Italians play later on. The Americans and the French go at it even later on than that. And that will complete the action here on day 2. Marchenko to the far side. The Slovaks looking more and more confident as this one goes on. Satin along the boards, a nice little drop pass, 1, 2, 3 as they set up the triangle in the corner. The Slovaks throwing the puck around nicely. Stasny takes a bit of a hit, regains his composure, goes in with the big hook along the boards. That comes back to the blue line, thrown over to the far side, and Bacha takes it over the blue. Offside is the call. And that delay in play has slowed things down a little, taken the rhythm out of the game. Hopefully we can get it back in a hurry.
There's an indication there as Peter Forsberg sits on the bench getting his nose wiped, blood coming out of it. He's wearing a visor, and you're still very capable of catching a high stick or a puck or an elbow.
Konsek bangs that off the boards, throws it up on the right side. Kolnick sets it free. Medrick now. Lazy shot on goal. Algotsson cleared it right out, and the Swedes get it out of the zone. Slovaks pick it up again. Sakaric working with Hasak. That's thrown over to the far side now, and a chance for the Swedes. Hartman hit the post. Oh, Hartman went down. Another shot right there. Ulen, a moment ago, slammed that off the metalwork and almost pumped it in the far corner. So close. Some good defensive stuff there from Berglund as he jumped down and threw his stick out. Palfi. A lazy shot. Hasek is right in there, and Algotsson took his time to get up back on his feet as he was sprawled down in the crease. Naslund throws it to the far side, and the Swedes throw it behind their own net as we approach the 5-minute mark here in the period, and the Swedes unable to score that leveler.
The Slovakians going with one man after the puck carrier. The other two guys are doing an excellent job of positioning themselves in a place on the ice where they're taking the passing lanes away from the Swedes, making it difficult for the Swedes to wind something up in the neutral territory. Big shot taken earlier off the post. Some good action from the Swedes. Ulen going close there on the rebound. Hartman showing his reflexes once again, reacting quick enough just to get a piece of the puck.
Glove coming out at the last moment to pull off that key save on Ulen. Ulen had a couple of golden opportunities there. Came so close, but that doesn't count. Score remains 3-2. Leud breaks up the middle, can only get a touch to it. The Slovaks have to get out of the zone to avoid the offside. Roland is there. Petrovicki fires it in. Palfi goes in after his man. Lube again circles. Palfi tries to pick himself back up. Lube throws it off, looks for the return pass from Stillman, but Stillman gives it away. Palfi back to Janos. Janos throws it up quickly, and the Slovaks now come back on the attack. Petrovicki tries to get the shot away, but Stillman is there to break it up. Lube, a little backhander. Ornskog taken out at the blue line. 1, 2, 3 players building up around that blue line, and the Slovaks are doing a great job of preventing the Swedes from getting going. Shot right at the target. Ornskog waiting for the rebound. Widmark now moves in. Petrovicki tries to start things up for the Slovaks. Pumps it in and goes for a change.
Petrovicki doing the right thing. About a minute shift out there for the Slovaks. They dumped the puck in and got a quick change while the puck was in the Swedish territory.
Jansson to the far side. Forsberg couldn't handle that one. And Jansson goes deep with Stasny on him. Kenny Jansson now. Back to Thomas Jansson. Long pass up the middle. And Bergfest looking for Hansen. Hansen gathers that at the blue. Takes the shot. Takes it, she scores! Marchenko was trying to clear that one away. Hansen had a couple of bites at the cherry.
A good second effort by Roger Hansen, who just kept his concentration, wasn't willing to give up on the puck. Made the second one pay for him. The Swedes coming down the ice. Long pass ahead to Hansen. He's on his off wing. Comes back into the center and collects the return. Lets the first shot go. Number 6, Marchenko blocks the first shot. Attempts to take Hansen out of the play, but the rebound is off the stick of Hansen and into the goal. Hansen driving it past Hartman.
Perhaps Hartman was partially screened on that as Marchenko cut across in front of him. 6:41 the time of the goal, and it's all level. Olgatsson drops it down, pumps it into the corner. Big hit on Eriksson, and the Swedes come up with a puck. Stopped at the blue line. Johansson has to go deep. He throws it back, and the Swedes now try it again. Berglund races up the far side. Naslund shakes off a hook, and Hartman comes up with the save, and we'll have another face-off in Slovak territory. Well, that makes one or two people on this bench a little happier.
Another look at that replay. That was not the easiest puck in the world for Hansen to handle. He certainly got all of it.
Hasek throws it up on the left wing. Hasek breaks in the center now as Sakaris tried to break through. The big defenseman doing some good puck handling skills out there, but couldn't take it the distance. A lot of support back there as Roland Duboya ran into trouble. Berglund with Hasek against the boards, and the Swedes now try to bring it up. Hartman stays in his net as Naslund finds himself in the corner against Sakaris. Sakaris tries to pin it against the woodwork. Naslund wants to grab at that, and Newland has it now. Petrovitsky is all over him like a blanket, and that comes off the plexi. Palfi takes a tip and gets it out of the zone. Roland gets it up to Stillman, and that bounces down the ice with 8:03 gone in the third period. It's all level. Svella, a quick pass up on the right wing, and Palfi comes up now. Palfi trying to get around Stillman. That didn't work, but Petrovitsky is there to pick up the puck. Lube and Stillman stay there in the corner. Lube now. Lube quickly sees the opening up the middle. Hack and Lube throws it up on the left side to Ridmark. Back to Lube. Lube tries to break in. He's hooked off the play in the circle, and Palfi now comes back. A big chop there by Ornskog. And the Slovaks quickly get back to break up the play.
Good two-way hockey from both teams. They're skating hard offensively, but both sides are doing a good job of back-checking.
Stillman, long pass up the middle. And that goes all the way down the rink as Lube and Smerchak have words.
Smerchak giving Lube the respect that he's worthy of. 23-year-old Smerchak not wanting to let Lube get out of his sight. The 33-year-old Lube has still got a lot of life left in his legs. Doing a good job of back-checking on that shift. As I mentioned before, he went down the ice, came back, helped get the puck out of his zone. And then young Palfi, the 21-year-old kid for the Slovakians, who had created the rush for the Slovakians, the man who got back and helped out defensively for his team.
Bergqvist to Hansen. Hansen is dynamite. This guy can explode. Bacci was right there. Stan loose. Puck is there. Janssen went in. Hartman appeared to have lost it for a moment.
That is a very happy 19-year-old kid who's just scored his first goal of the Olympic Games. You're exactly right, Paul. Hartman didn't know where the puck was. Roger Hansen, who gets it away so quickly, it looked like he was truly out of the picture, got a shot off. He's being watched very closely by Sakaris. The rebound laid there, 19 came flying into the picture. That's Kenny Janssen.
That one has to be down to the goaltender. You got to grab those, boy. Janssen is happy. 4-3 the scoreline now as Johansson is dumped along the far side. Sakaris muscles with Johansson and then gets a little support. Gakel refuses to lay down as Naslund attempted to make the rink-wide pass as we approach the 9.5-minute mark. That goes all the way down the ice. And again, we have to say that we're seeing some good hockey out there, some exciting stuff. We saw a great game yesterday when the Finns played the Czechs and came up with a victory. The Russian-Norway game was always going to be predicted. And the Germans struggled with Austria. But this one, well, we thought that the Swedes would walk away with it. The Slovaks a bit of an unknown quantity out there. They have several key players who used to play with the Czechoslovakian team. But we really did think that this Swedish team were too powerful. But so far it's been far from a runaway. The Slovaks have looked powerful. They've looked in control at times.
We have learned with experience, Paul. There have been a few times in the past where we've been wanting to say the Swedes aren't playing well, it doesn't look like their day, and all of a sudden they can turn it up a notch and just start putting the puck into the goal with ease. They've come into this third period and scored 2 goals. The second period was all Slovakia. Now it's all Sweden.
Kolnick gets it out of his zone. Roland is there. Roland drops it back, and the Swedes now with the line change. They definitely miss Kenneth Kenholt, who's out with a groin strain. He's the big defenseman, number 8, who played for several years and has got that powerful shot. And he's the kind of man they need back there to direct traffic.
Man advantage situations especially. He's got the tremendous boomer from the blue line.
Palffy watches that go along the boards and then back into the corner. Smerchak starts it up on the far side. Lud goes after him. Smerchak throws it down the ice. Stillman gently taps it to the far side of the rink. Widmark breaks up center, and the Swedes now start to bring it out of their zone. 4-3 to score. Widmark on the left wing. The Swedes hanging on to the lead here. Lube is in position, and the pass didn't come. Widmark perhaps hanging on just a bit too long. Well, what do you call that? A bit of baseball, maybe a rugby pass?
I call it desperation myself. Svella, under heat from a few yellow shirts, elected to do whatever he felt was justified to get the puck out of trouble. Svella throwing probably the best hit of the game. Unfortunately, it was on his own teammate. Palffy with a big smile on his face now saying, "Thanks a lot, you've just woken me up."
So Svella has a smile on his face, but he called for delay of the game.
The delay of game penalty being for his puck work with his hands, not for the body check he threw on his teammate earlier.
The Swedes were quick to react. The hands go in the air and say, "Hey, Wunsch, how about that?" Back to Jonsson. Jonsson taps it in. Lube is in the corner. Lube throws it behind the goal. Lube working with Bergqvist out there. Forsberg all the way back to the blue. The fake shot. Jonsson now bouncing over his stick. He had a golden opportunity with a clear path to the net. Lube gets it back to Jonsson. A one-timer. Hartman is there. Great save. Bergqvist is there. Stillman let a bullet go. Well, we talk about Ken Holt with the big shot from back of the blue. The whistle blows on that one. Some confusion as to why.
It is one of the most dangerous things about the Swedish team, trying to kill off penalties against them. They've got loads of guys who have got big slap shots from the blue line. If that isn't falling for them, they'll drop the puck down low. When you've got guys as quick and clever as Forsberg, you're still in all kinds of trouble. It's hard to play them when you're down a man.
Stillman. Stillman starts it up. Lube calls for it on the far side, but the pass goes up the middle. Forsberg has it, but Lube and Bergqvist collide, and the long clearance goes the distance, with Jonsson going back for Sweden. 1 minute remaining on the penalty to Svella for delaying the game. The Swedes here with a man advantage. Forsberg going right in. Forsberg! And Hartman was there with the pad down as that trickled by. And the Swedes started up again. Stillman's pass almost intercepted, and now the Slovaks have possession, with Palffy doing a great job in the attacking zone. Jonsson. Pass up onto the left wing. Naslund Naslin trying to find space. Naslin, little pass on the short side. Berglund's there. One-timer. Hartman goes down. And Kjellberg was standing on the edge of the crease with 14 seconds to go on the power play. Kjellberg unmolested, unable to get any lumber on the puck. Johansson now. And the penalty has expired. Svella jumps back on the ice. Johansson fires it to the far side. And the Slovaks doing a good job of killing that one off. Stasny, a long shot wide of the target. And the Swedes happy to get it out of the zone. They will now complete a change. A little tip on the blue line there. A shot coming from Kolnick. Stasny flipped it over to him, and Kolnick let it fly. Algotsson came up with a save.
The end-to-end wide open ice hockey game has started to slow down. The legs are tiring. Both teams happy to just dump the puck out and get quicker and quicker changes as the third period goes on.
You've got to remember there's a long way to go in this competition. There are 6 teams in the Group A and 6 teams in the Group B. Shot right on. Algotsson went down, and they play each team in the group once, so they'll be playing 5 games, and then they go into the knockout round when the top 4 qualify and play crossover. Ornskog tries to get it out front. He does. Lube is right there. Lube with a chance. And Hasek got the stick on it. Rydmark is down and out on the ice. The whistle blows.
Rydmark in some considerable pain, taken out in front of the goal. Ornskog and Rydmark were doing a lot of work down low. Puck coming to the front of the goal. Big hit once again by this Otto Hasek guy. A very hard-nosed forward. A legal check, just stuck the shoulder right in there and dropped Rydmark.
He'll be back. 4-3 the score. The Swedes in the lead as Rydmark gets some attention from the medical staff.
Trying to clear the cobwebs. They'll tighten his bolts back down, and we'll see him in his next shift on the ice. I'm sure of that.
Hasek's still out there. Shot. Algotsson went down. It didn't come the distance. Picked up by Kolnick. Kolnick running out of spaces to go. A one-timer. Oh! That was good. That was nice.
What a drive to level the score at 4. Celebrations on the Slovakian bench, and why not? We keep mentioning Otto Hasek. This guy just doesn't stop working. The legs are going. His head is up. He slides the puck across. That shot is drilled into the back of the net. Take another look as Hasek works the puck around. 22 is waiting. He's pumped right up. Konsak gets all of it. Good work from Hasek. The finishing touch, a beauty from number 22, Roman Konsak. The Slovakians are right back in it again. 4-4 the score.
Just under 6 minutes remaining on the game. And this one is wide open. Long clearance in was always going to be offside. Never say die. Seems to be the Slovaks' attitude out there. They really have come back a couple of times. Let's take a look at this again. Great one-timer. Face-off in the neutral ice zone. Petrovitsky being asked to leave the face-off circle. Berglund stays in, and the Swedes pick it up from the face-off and move it down. A long clearance as Smirchak goes deep. Smerchak working with Svela. Svela gets the pass, taps it off to Plexi, and that comes out of the zone, and the chance now is the Slovaks bring it up with Palpi. Palpi drops it back. Again, they come forward, and right there was Janos. Petrovicki, Svela doing a good job out there. Another shot coming. Algotsson goes down. Petrovicki trying to bring it out front. The goaltender is down. The loose puck comes out front. A few problems. Svela gets it right in front. Everyone down, trying to grab on it. Palpi is there. Janos is there. Petrovicki can't free himself. And that comes out over the blue line. And Smerchak tried to tap it back in. Petrovicki lost his helmet and takes a big hit in the circle by Berglund.
Petrovicki without a helmet, bouncing around like crazy, really getting himself stuck in. Great work from the Slovakians. It was right at the point, Paul, where you just want to reach down yourself and push the puck into the goal. It was laying there and nobody could put the finishing touch on it.
Svela calls for a line change and holds on to the puck until they complete it. And now the long pass goes all the way down the ice. Stillman is there to golf it out, but only as far as the blue line. The tap in forces Stillman back into the corner. Excellent pressure coming now from the Slovaks as they start to pick up their game yet another gear. A long pass up on the wing, and that's broken down right on the red line, and eventually Marchenko comes up with it. 4 minutes now on the game, 4-4 the score. This is the first time that the Swedes and the Slovaks have played each other, and this is the first game of Group B on day 2 of the Winter Olympics here in Lillehammer. Stillman. The drop pass, and the Swedes now have completed yet another line change as Forsberg gives it to Bergqvist. He throws it in. Hartman drops it off. Hasek goes one way. Looks for the pass on the far side. That doesn't come. It bounces off his skate. Marchenko. Helmet still down on the ice, belonging to Petrovicki. Kulnik, and the clearance comes right out to Hasek. Hasek gets it back to the blue. Shakaris fakes the shot, winds up, takes the shot, that goes right into Algotsson, well and truly out of his net to make the save. Lubomir Shakaris, way back at the blue, had a lot of time, moved in, teed the shot up, and the save was made.
Algotsson very fortunate that the puck stayed on the ice. If that had been sent upstairs or been a deflection, he wouldn't have had a chance. He was down. The puck was deflected on its way to him, but it stayed right on the ice. He was able to smother it. Konsak, who has just scored the big goal to level the score again, sniffing around the front of the net.
Coming up now to the final 3 minutes of play. Hasek against Berglund. Hasek takes the shot! And that one was close as it whistled by the far post. Hasek has to be the man of the match for the Slovaks. A great two-way player as Duboya drops that off for Sweden. The Swedes with Johansson firing it into the far corner. Quickly in there is Konsak. Konsak is dragged down. A loose puck is picked up by Medrick. Medrick for the Slovaks hits the blue line, throws it over to the far side, and that wasn't contained by Kulnik. And Ulin comes back. Ulin working on the left side. This guy is powerful, but not powerful to get through Medrick. Not powerful enough to get through Medrick, I should say.
Good checking from both sides. There's a lot of hooking and holding going on away from the play, but when you've got a 4-4 score, the Canadian referee is doing exactly the right thing. He's put his whistle away, and he isn't going to make a silly call that could affect the outcome of this game.
I can hardly wait for the next whistle. Lube takes a hit on the boards by Janos, and that comes out of the zone, but Stillman has it on the near side. Stillman lets a rocket go that bounces off the back, and we have less than 2 minutes now remaining on the game. Tense stuff here as Petrovicki brings it up, shows too much of the puck, and the Swedes just shoot it down the ice into Slovak territory. Excellent start to day 2. This really has been a superb performance from both teams.
the coach.
Well, they'll be writing down who shoots from where and who's winning the draws out there. Duboya batted that down, but Petrovitsky came up with it just for a moment. Duboya stole it back. Widmark breaks over, gets past Svela, but Janos ties him up, and eventually the puck is shot out of the zone. That comes all the way down into Swedish territory. Johansson getting away from Petrovitsky. And we have a whistle on the play. Munch goes over to his lineman to talk that one through. .44 to score in the dying stages of this third and final period. It really has been a good seesaw battle.
Bench minor, Sweden, too many men on the ice. Okay?
Well, you probably heard that call yourself, a bench minor against Sweden for too many men on the ice. Whoa. Kurt Lundmark may not have a job tomorrow if this results in a Slovak goal. And what's this? I mean, this is a call that they have to make. If they've got too many men on the ice, the referee has got to take his whistle out. The linesman actually called it.
Oh, thanks a lot, Paul. You make me feel better already for just saying that it's going to have to be something very blatant, very obvious. It was hard to see where the player was caught on the ice. The action was going toward the Swedish bench. It seemed as though the play had turned away. The whistle blew. The linesman went over immediately to confer with the referee on his decision. The referee supporting it, and the Swedes, with what could be the costly penalty of the game here, caught with 6 men on the ice. A coach's nightmare.
Eriksson goes in to sit for 2 for the bench minor. 18:47 the time of the penalty, so he'll be gone for the rest of the game, unless, of course, the Slovaks score. It's rare that you see that kind of penalty at this level. Face-off on the Swedish side of the red line. Hasek going against Berglund. And that comes back to number 44, Svela. Hasek, this is the man who appears to be in control. Hasek brings it out slowly. Hasek throws it over. 1 minute remaining. The Slovaks will want to set it up in the zone. Hasek takes it on the hash marks and pops it back to the blue. They're not going to take any chances. They're going to look for the good shot. Svela, having said that, let it go. Hasek on this side as that goes over nicely to Bergqvist, and the Swedes happy just to dump it down, and they'll play for the tie. 35 seconds now remaining on the period. Svela brings it up slowly. Svela hits the blue line offside. Boy, you'd think they'd be aware of that and take their time when they hit that blue line.
Well, when you've got the puck, you've got to get to the blue line. If you've got players a stride or two in front of you, you can't just slow up and push people off sides. If they've got momentum going, throw it in the zone if you have to. Get a couple of guys going after the puck. The Slovakians want to get it in deep and get a good last shot off if they can.
They really want to try to set it up, as you say, and they haven't been given the opportunity just yet. Face off in neutralized territory. 30 seconds on the clock. Johnson will go back and take a swipe at this. The Slovaks will now set it up with Sakaris. 18 seconds remaining in the game. It's all tied up. Svela can't get it beyond Berglund. Sakaris fires it in quickly. Algotsson comes out. Will they take a chance and try to get it off the plexi? He gets as far as the blue line. Svela can't get the shot away. Coming in quickly. Shot right down. And Algotsson goes down as Kolnick moved in quickly.
Kolnick, who's got an excellent shot. We've seen it a few times in this game. Let it go. Algotsson with a piece of it. Doesn't quite know where it is. Hasek, number 10, around the front of the goal like usual, creating problems for the goaltender and the defenseman. The puck appeared to go off. Number 3, Christian Dubois, just in front of the goaltender. Algotsson just thanking God that he's got it underneath him. The face-off will be deep in Swedish territory.
Hasek gets set for the face-off, an all-important face-off for both teams. The Swedes still a man down. And that comes to the edge of the circle. And that's it. They really didn't have time to get the face-off back and get the shot away. Everyone goes back to congratulate Hartman, and the Swedes go back to congratulate Algotsson, and it's a tie ball game out there. That could not have been predicted. We really thought the Swedes would come up with a victory. They are predicted to go for gold in this competition, looking for their first gold ever in Olympic competition. We know they have 2 silver and 4 bronze, but the Slovaks came out and taught them a thing or two.
The end result is very justified, though. I think that both teams played well enough to win this game. It would have been a pity to see either one of them lose the way that they went at each other, especially in the third.